Hello, it is Wednesday, and it has been quite a while since I have done a live interview on my page. But I was talking to my friend Jessica here, and I really wanted to, during the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. It has been since, I believe, 1949. I really wanted her to share her story with you. And so Jessica lives in Louisiana, right?
That's right.
Get that right. That is one state that I have not visited. I think I've visited like over 30, but Louisiana is not one of them. And she is a girl mom. So I'm a boy mom of 3, but she's a girl mom of 4. That is massive. I always tell people, when they're like, oh, you're a boy mom. I'm like, yeah, God decided that one woman in this household was enough. Like we didn't need another one. So I'm the only one here. But wow. So there's going to be lots of hormones and things going around during the same time as they get older, right?
Right.
So Jessica's going to share a little bit, but before she starts, I want to, we're going to talk about the gut-brain axis a little bit here. But before we get there, I want her to talk to you about where she was before January. And Jessica, you can, December, or you can go like 5 years ago, whatever you're comfortable sharing. And just kind of tell us how you're feeling, what was going on, those types of things.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica. So I've been a stay-at-home mom for 13 years now to all girls, and we are just now getting to the point where my oldest is 13. So she hasn't been too bad with the hormones, but my next one coming up, she's 10, about to be 11, and we can already tell it's going to be a challenge as they get a little bit older. But with being a stay-at-home mom, and my family's from Oregon, my husband's family's in Louisiana, we've had a lot of ups and downs over the years with, just being away from my support system has been really hard for me over the years. So in January, I think in like August, September, my daughter, we started counseling because she was having anxiety. And just sitting in with her, I was like, oh man, I need to talk to a counselor. So I started counseling for my mental health, and realized a lot of things that I didn't know that I was struggling with, depression and anxiety, and realized that winters are harder on me. That seems to be when my depression really starts to ramp up. And come to find out that as an adult being diagnosed with a little bit of ADHD as a female, that, symptoms don't always present the same when you're younger. So I've had family members who are boys who had it, but didn't realize that that was one of the struggles that I was facing and why I struggled so bad. So one of the biggest struggles in my household since I've been married and have kids is messy house and clutter. So we're not talking about just your everyday little bit, it was pretty bad at times when I would go into the depression, usually in winter. It was really hard on me, which makes it hard on my husband, hard on my kids. And so in January, I've been doing a little bit of research on the gut and eating well. We always hear doctors say, just eat less and exercise and you can lose the weight. Well, that had been a struggle for me. I've done all the things, tried all the diets and everything. So in January, when I saw one of Crystal's posts about the new purple pill and that it was targeting for weight loss specifically, I'm like, this is it. I'm jumping all in. Let's do this. Give me all the information and let's go. So I jumped in with that and one of the other products, and wasn't even thinking about mental health at all. I was just wanting the weight loss, to help. And so that was one of the first things I noticed. Like, I was losing weight and feeling great, but my anxiety and my depression were just lifted. And that's not something that I, being a stay-at-home mom for 13 years and struggling with it, I had forgotten what it felt like to feel normal. And so my motivation, I had a tendency where you asked your kids, hey, go do this for me, or hey, will you get mom this, help me out. But I noticed that I would just get up and do it. I didn't even have the part where I would stop and say, hey, will you do this for mom, or you do that for me? And so that was a huge shift in my daily life that I wasn't even looking for. I was not
Right.
expecting it to help with my mental health. So that in itself has been life changing for me on a daily basis, just to have the energy to get up and do. You can't explain it.
No, you can't.
No,
Has there been anything that your husband has noticed or said about it? What is he?
Yeah, we went to my parents' house for dinner because they now live in Louisiana too. So went to their house and had dinner, and my husband went outside, and my dad's all like, Jill was talking to me earlier, and he was like, I don't know what's changed, but she has changed completely, and I'm so happy to see her happy, you know.
That's
And
exciting.
so my dad's all like, I just want you to know that he really is noticing things. And I said, yeah, we've talked about it, but for him to actually say something
Mention
to
it to someone else, right?
right. It
Yeah.
was like it's totally changed my life, but my family's life too, with my husband and my kids,
Yes.
because they see mom being happy
I
and
think
healthy.
when you're in that cloud of depression and anxiety, diagnosed or not diagnosed,
Right,
when you're in that cloud, you cannot see outside of that. And
right,
it's not necessarily selfishness, but you're in this bubble of this is how I feel, and I can't see how everyone else is feeling because I am so overwhelmed with, the weight of what I'm going through right now. And
right,
so as that kind of lifts, whether it lifts all in a day or it lifts in layers, to me, it's like lights just come on again. It's like,
right,
oh, or somebody's like cleaning the glass and you can like, oh, I
right,
can see clearly now. Now I
right,
can see, maybe that tiff in a relationship, or maybe, with you and one of your girls, or like me and one of my boys or something. I can see how my mental fitness was affecting that. Whereas before, I just couldn't see it, right? It was just, everything was just clouded and not jaded necessarily, but just cloudy. And
right.
then as you change that, you can see better. So let me ask this, and this isn't something I asked you beforehand, but had you ever tried Western medicine to kind of help in this area? And was that a benefit? Was it not?
Right. So, one product I've used was specifically for headaches, but one of the side effects was weight loss. So I had tried that in the past, and it did help somewhat, but the
Mhm.
dosing on it was really hard. And I didn't want to be on a medication because
Sure.
I've been
Other
on
side
birth
effects.
control. Right, right. Because I've done birth control and I had to quit it because of the bad side effects and stuff. So I was a little bit leery. And so with the uh, professional that I was talking to and getting counseling from, she asked me, she's like, we can try to do other methods first and see how that goes. And then we can do medicine if you want to, if it gets to be too bad. And I'm just like, I really would rather try other techniques. So I was
Right.
looking for a holistic way to help.
Did you do you see her anymore or this individual anymore?
Right. So tomorrow will be like a tooth-month checkup. The last time I went in, I had been on the products for maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And so, hey, my little one,
She's
go back
good.
out. So I had went in and she's all like, what are you doing? What has changed? And so we talked about it a little bit and she's like, I think we can see each other maybe in 2 months, see if you're still good, and then go from there. But so tomorrow will be my 2 months checkup. But I don't think I'm going to have to keep seeing her, which is a pretty great feeling.
That's so wonderful. It really is. Okay, so I just want to briefly explain what Jessica has added to her body to change this all up. So it's not a medication at all. It doesn't have side effects. It doesn't interfere with other medications and things. If you are taking anything, it's simply probiotic strains, really. And I wanted kind of just briefly explain this. The strain matters when it comes to a probiotic. The strain matters as well as the source of your probiotic. It can't just be, it's not something you just want to pick up off the shelf of your local store, right? But probiotics are kind of like when you think of dog species, right? So you've got the kingdom, the phylum, the class, all of those things, all the way down to the specific species of a dog. Like we can just say dog and it could mean thousands of dogs, right? But when we get all the way down to the species, we're going to be talking about a Great Dane. Are we talking about a Chihuahua, and what type of Chihuahua? And that's kind of what it's like when we talk about probiotics. So probiotics have their genus, their species, a subspecies if they have one, and then the strain designation. The strain designation has normally a couple of letters and a number after it. That is what you want to know is in your probiotic. And that is what there are three specific strains that she added into her body, as well as focusing on that vagus nerve, so the gut brain axis. And that is what has changed. When you change your gut microbiome, which houses 90% or creates 90% of your serotonin, your feel-good hormone, then you're going to cause those neurotransmitters to do wonderful things in your brain, reduce inflammation, and just give you all those good feelings that you've been having, right?
Right. Right. And so we were talking about Western medicine. So we talked about bad side effects. So some of the good side effects that, like I said, I wasn't expecting to handle my depression or anxiety, but I was just focusing on weight loss. But I've noticed my skin is getting clearer. My hair used to come out in like clumps in the shower. Like I would brush it beforehand and then take my shower, and I would still have it coming out in handfuls. That's no longer happening. So maybe like one or two strands at a time, which is huge for me. And my nails have thickened up and have gotten stronger. They were flaking before. And so there's all these layered things that I would consider positive side effects.
Absolutely.
That I've also been seeing.
Absolutely. I had the same going on. I came in for different reasons, and then I found so much more, just like you, by transforming my gut, just kind of cleaning up that garden and causing the good things to grow.
They thrived.
Absolutely. Jessica, thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable like that. I really appreciate it. And I want to just let the audience know, whoever's watching now or later, if you would like to talk more about your gut and what's going on and how Jessica or I could help you in that area, just reach out to either one of us and we'd be happy to share. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you.